Carl and Brendan here from Games, Brains and Headbanging Life. gbhblofficial for short. It's reaction time, and we are doing some mellow death. But yeah, I know, I've chosen it. I have chosen a mellow death song. This is from the melodic death metal band Thy Kingdom Will Burn. Uh, from their album The Lost and Redemption, it is Perpetual Void. This album was released on January 17th via Scarlet Records. Now, Perpetual Void is like the opening track of this album, and it blew me away as sort of like an early indicator of what I was getting into. I don't normally get too excited about melodeath like albums, particularly from the sort of like Scandinavian countries where that sort of stuff originates. Mainly because it's more like your jam, and I
hmm
often sort of hear some melodeath, and it's good melodeath, but it's also melodeath, and there's only so much you can do with it. Thy Kingdom Will Burn really took me by surprise. I absolutely love this album. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10, the highest scored release that I've done for this year already. And it's wall-to-wall banger. It's a total wall-to-wall banger that's thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed. There's not really more else I can say to sell it than that. It's melodeath. It's got some really unique elements. Some is a bit black metal, some is a bit thrashy. It's got all the stuff you will recognize, but there's a bit more going on. And for me, it's one of those bands that's so on a creative high, where they're gelling and so cohesive that, like, I presume during that period nothing was crap. Like, everything they did, they wrote and created was great. And when it came to narrowing down what was going to be in this album, it was a matter of, oh God, these really are the best of the actual best. That's how strong I think this is.
Big words.
Mm.
Well, I haven't heard it, so this is the first for me. But obviously, I love Melodeath, so my judgment will be final.
Of
No, I'm
course, I
joking.
would expect nothing but you will be the best choice of this. So yeah, we're going to do Perpetual Void in three, two, one, go. I think we've got a video as well.
Yep. Well, mine says official video in brackets.
Oh, of course it does. Yes, right, right there. Ooh, pretty. Oh, cinematic, as a video goes. Very beautiful place.
Mm,
Look cold though.
I like the cold. It's all right. I'm a fan. Which one?
Yes. Right. Yeah. Right.
uh, yeah, it's a good song. It's a good song. I like it. I like his voice. He's got a good voice. Good clean singing. Got some edge to it still, and good harsh vocals in melodic style. Is in like there's still clarity to them.
Yeah.
You know, you can still make out what he's saying, and it's clear. Um, I think even without the video, you would have got a good sense of what they were trying to put across, which is kind of battling in a demon sort of thing. Obviously, the video kind of helped with that, especially the rope scenes. Probably display that. I think more than anything, obviously.
Yeah. The tug of
Um,
war thing.
Great drums, really good drums. I really enjoyed the drums, and I like the little transitions in it as well, even if they are quite sudden, like they don't. But I guess that kind of goes well with the theme. It's not like we're going really really fast and we're going to slow it down to soft. It's like we're going fast and then suddenly we're not. You know. Uh, yeah, I've nothing I thought about it. I thought it was a really good song. I'm surprised it's an opener on an album. To be honest with you, it has a feel of a big closer. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. No, it's the yeah. It's the literal album opener. Yep. Yeah. It's the album opener. Just making sure I'd bought listed it right. But yeah, Perpetual Void, #1 of
Yeah.
a 10-track album.
Yeah. Clearly a band that I need to be keeping a bit of an eye on them because it is it's not traditional Megadeth. Like, do you know what I mean? Like sort of early at the gates or anything like that. It is a modern
Yeah.
Megadeth,
Yeah.
which is completely fine. Like I don't have preferences. I'm not like, oh, I only listen to Megadeth from the 90s. In fact, it's probably the opposite for me, is I'm more likely to listen to the modern sort of sound. Um, and at that they obviously do it very well. I'm kind of judging it off of the base of one song, but like if that's kind of what the album sort of follows sound wise, then I know I would love it, and it would be a high scorer just based off of that single track for me. So yeah, really really good. Really like
Yeah.
the video as well. Just pure, not just because of like the demonstration of it, but I think like there's some clever moves in the video, right? Like I think the using the water and the sea, which is, I don't know why, but visually when you're like sort of a few people sitting on a boat or a few people sitting on an island in what looks like quite a remote area, it kind of gives you that mental kind of feeling,
Solitude,
I
right?
guess,
Like alone, right?
of being alone and I don't know, like me against the world sort of thing, or a bit like yeah, like Lost at Sea sort of thing.
Yeah.
And also, but then I also think like backing that up then with visuals of him quite like face on with the camera, shouting the vocals and sort of again just being sort of surrounded by woodlands and trees and everything like that. Like it almost it gave me the impression watching the video that I was watching his inner voice rather than his outer voice. Like that's kind of what I was taking from it. So yeah, I thought the whole package again was really really cool, but musically loved it. Great song.
No, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad I hadn't seen the video. Obviously, I've heard the song, but I hadn't seen the video. So it's kind of cool to sort of see him when he's doing those sort of shouting. He's got his fists up like that, and it does feel like he's throwing a lot of himself into that. But then you do
Mm,
that variation where it goes down to the lighter, cleaner, if you want, singing. But he's kind of got a little bit of gruffness to his voice. It's more the melody of the guitars more than anything else. You get those lovely little drops of where it is just melodic guitars on their own, sort of plucking away, which had a real touch. You do get this weird flurry in the sort of latter end where it's like suddenly becomes really traditional melodeath of guitars just kind of
yeah.
racing off, which is quite funny as well. I said in the review, I said, look, in the sort of what took it out and put it in the social media post where I put like a line from the review and I'd written melodeath, but not as you know it. That's what I was trying. So like that, I still think stands. While if they call themselves a melodic death metal band, they are tagged as a melodic death metal. Held a video has the hashtag melodic death metal, and I see them that way as well. There's more and more to it, and there are many, many very, very variations on it. Check out a song like Martyrs of Killing Floor, for example. Whereas if you wanted something more epic, then go to something like Forever in dark. There is lots and lots of variety on this album. It's an interesting listen, fascinating one, one that I thoroughly enjoyed. When it isn't normally the thing I seek out, which is what I think maybe surprised me so much. Maybe that's why I like the fact that it's not necessarily the most obviously traditional Melodeath thing, and it's like it's not a who's the most Melodeath band I could think of right now? The Halo Effect. It's not the Halo Effect. It's what I mean, like who right now I think is right now like if I was to sort of say a brand new band that's doing like Melodeath 101, the Halo Effect. That is obviously like put the two side by side and you're like, well, they're not the same. But like they are, but they're not. And I like that about Thy Kingdom Will Burn. Well, you're doing that. What's that?
Well, I mean, there are not specifically to the Halo effect, but I mean to me, like it is 100% Melodeath. I get
Yeah,
what you're saying about there are little factors around it that would, like, it can be 80% here's our foundation genre, and then we're going to do the 10 or the
yeah,
15 or the 20% around. But then I think that's what every Melodeath band does now anyway, to stand out from the crowd anyway, to the
yeah,
point
yeah.
where that becomes the foundation genre.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
only using the Halo Effect as an example because the Halo
mm,
Effect don't do any of that. The Halo Effect is
yeah,
the
yeah,
most, yeah, like that's what at least I think they are anyway.
yeah. No, I get it, but but just for me, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's very, very, in a good way. It's not similar, but it sounds in line with the bands that I listen to on a daily within the Melodeath genre. But like
There it is.
in a good way. That doesn't mean that they sound the same. They don't. But I just mean stylistically, there are factors within there that I would have questioned more it being whether it was Melodeath or not. Actually, if some of the things in that song weren't happening, like like it is, oh, that's not really what they do in modern Melodeath anymore, that sort of thing. But it doesn't really matter because I think at the end of the day, like genres these days, especially those top level genres, where unless you start getting down into the fact that that has maybe a touch of the atmospheric side to it, it has a little, yeah, I don't know, you can start getting the post and progressive and all that sort of stuff. Like, unless you could start breaking it down to ridiculous levels, if you call something trash or Melodeath or power metal or anything like that, then you're going to get variations in it, and that's kind of, I think, what keeps bands alive.
I generally thought we would get into more of a debate where you were like, well, that's not really Melodeath and stuff like this. I thought it'd be
No,
more that.
I,
Clearly,
I,
I
I
need to
think
be
it's that
listening to
whole
more
thing.
Melodeath.
Like I think Melodeath has like evolved massively over the years, more so I think than a lot of genres. Where if you release a thrash album, you expect certain things. If you release a power metal album, you expect certain things. Melodic death metal is such an open term, isn't it? Because you're just saying it's
Mm.
death metal, but we're going to have some melodic stuff in there as well, and that means you can do anything. So like
True.
Melodeath to me is one of the widest genres once you come out of what would now be seen as traditional Melodeath.
Mm.
Outside of that traditional thing, it is essentially anything that's heavy with a bit of melody in it. Like it's
Yeah,
hard. It's
yeah.
hard. I think, yeah, I don't know, man. Sometimes I think like the Scandinavian factor kind of, if you release any music and you come from Scandinavia and at some point you put melody in it and at some point you shout, you almost
Hmm.
instantly get tagged with melodic death metal. Like you kind of feel like that a little bit. But to
Yeah.
me, that it is that on that song, the 80%, but then with the extras to it. But like I guess to a degree, like who cares? Genres are
Yeah.
genres, man. Like at the end of the day, you just want good music, and that's a really, really good song.
There it is. What a perfect way to sign off this video. That was Perpetual Void by Thy Kingdom Will Burn from the Lost and Redemption album. You got any thoughts and you know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.